10 seconds and we'll be starting up, guys. Welcome to the last chapter. We do have a conclusion to cover, but we're going to do that in another video. Tonight we are covering the last chapter. This is chapter 32, the sin of pride. All right, here we go with the intro and we'll get this started. Welcome back, everybody. This is Big Money Manny at the Big Money Manny channel, and I'm excited, guys. This is the last chapter, and it's been a long time coming, and a lot of changes went on from the beginning of this book, and from this is the first book that we're covering in this podcast. First book we read, or we are reading, and have been reading, is this book right here, The 25 Biblical Laws of Success by William Douglas and Ruben Teixeira, two awesome gentlemen from Brazil. And they've given us so much wisdom in the past couple of months. And, I just, I'm all about completing goals this year. I mean, getting things done, not just talking about it, not just setting the goals, but actually putting in the work and getting it done, and that sense of accomplishment when you finished. Man, there's nothing like it. And I just want to thank anybody that's been along with me here in this journey, and reading along, listening. I pray that this does something for you, that it makes an impact. And I mean, I was thinking about it all throughout the day. Just excited to get this done. My goal, one of my goals in January, is we did our, what do you call those, New Year's resolutions? One of my goals was to complete 6 books in a year. And it's funny just saying it now because, truth be told, I've started a few books since high school. I've started some books, but I never completed it, never finished it. And a lot of people are in that same boat because let's be honest with ourselves. Reading is just not that big of a deal in today's culture. It really isn't. It's not like, you see a lot of people that will go to the gym, or you see a lot of people that have goals in other areas and they'll start something. Reading is just not one of those things that's very popular, especially where I come from. You'll find that people are more interested in what they can find on TikTok and putting themselves out there on Instagram and all that kind of stuff, which is all good, whatever, whatever makes you happy. But reading is something that I've learned through business, that we cannot just leave and get away from that part of life of reading. Reading is a big part of your life. It's so very important. If you're in the faith, you understand how important it is to read. I'm learning this again in business, and all my leaders in business and mentors and people that are making it big in my company all have the similar habits. And one of those things is reading a book, self-improving, working on yourself, growing your mindset, making sure that this right here is right so that you can make more money. Because here's the truth. The better you take care of your brain, your mind, your thoughts, the more money you are likely to make. Right? It's kind of like a precursor, into achieving success in whatever area. And again, we covered that before in this book many times. Success is not just the amount of money you have. It really does come in many forms. And let me just say that reading and absorbing that information, absorbing that wealth of information, nuggets, and experiences that are transferred from one's life into a book. I mean, there's nothing like it. I mean, there's some things out there, of course, you can go and listen to a sermon and that'll inspire you. You can go listen to a talk online or a seminar and it'll inspire you. But reading a book is like having William Douglas and Ruben Teixeira, right there on your desk to tell you their life stories and share with you experiences that they've had growing up and their experiences in achieving success and their ups and downs. And, you have all their nuggets right here. You have their lives right here. You have their story. And by reading, you'll be able to learn from these guys, learn what to do and what not to do. So as you go about your life, you can avoid a lot of those issues, a lot of those problems, right? Try to get my lighting right here. But it's definitely it's been something on my mind because, like I shared yesterday, and I'm gonna share it again today. This book right here, I picked it up a couple of years ago. Sorry, I need something to drink. Sponsored by Diet Pepsi. I picked up this book a couple of years ago, and it's one of those things that you start, but I didn't get to finish it. And this year, one of my New Year's resolutions is to get the reading part down so that I can achieve more, so that I can have more, so I can be better. And I started it late. I made it a goal and New Year's, but I didn't really start till the end of the month of February. And we read on through March, and I had to stop because I had to study some other things. But here we are today, the last chapter. I will make one more video after this chapter on this book because I do want to cover the conclusion. It's just a couple pages of notes from the authors to us, and I don't know what they're going to talk about as they finish it off, as they close it out, but they've given us so much to this book. I mean, this book is awesome. I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it to you. You don't have to be a Christian to receive the wealth of knowledge here in this book. You get to achieve success. But if you are a Christian, it does give you a better way of placing things in your life, because one of the biggest struggles I see in a Christian person who wants to achieve success, that unbalance, right? They don't know how to balance out church life, faith, and family, business, right? This book right here will give you better ways of putting things in order so that you can achieve success. But let us go into this chapter. Again, the name of the book right here is 25 Biblical Laws of Success. Please like and subscribe this channel. Share it with your friends. We'd like to expand our reach here and really impact some other lives with the power of self-improvement and all the nuggets that we get out of here. I want to help them out in their life. This right here will help you in every area. It'll help you in business. It'll help you in your marriage. And over all the above, right? Again, we are Big Money Manny on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Now, here we go. Chapter 32, the final chapter. And we're going to finish off this book with the sin of pride. I didn't mean to do that. The sin of pride. All right. So, big subject, right? Because this right here, pride, it'll build and destroy your kingdom, your village, your city, your town. Pride is huge. Okay. Starting off with a Bible verse, Proverbs chapter 18, verse 12. Before a downfall, the heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. The word haughty also means disdain, right? Or a lack of respect. Before a downfall, the heart is haughty, but humility comes before honor. Let's read. The sin of pride manifests itself when a person thinks he or she is better than others, failing to respect his or her own neighbors, and walking all over people. Unfortunately, vanity and arrogance are quite common. There is an even popular expansion about success going to your head. It's worse when those who have only just begun to climb the ladder of life show an utter lack of humility, right? So, pride is thinking of yourself better than everybody else, thinking nobody measures up to your level, right? It says it's very common, and it can go to your head. It's always, and it's worse. It's the worst thing to see a brand new person who's just filled with pride, thinking he's better than everybody else, and the arrogance. Nobody wants to see that. There are various symptoms of this issue, including judging yourself better than others, disdaining those around you, meaning lacking of respect for other people around you, and spending too much money. Wow. The way you spend money is a sign that you have an issue with pride, right? Or a disdainful heart. One clear sign of pride and vanity is flaunting or faking a social status by spending more than you earn on shallow possessions, luxurious and expensive trifles, and symbols of power. Even when you have the money, flaunting is just not right. Let me stop there. It says here the various symptoms of this issue include judging yourself better than others, disdaining those around you, spending too much money. It says one clear sign of pride and vanity is flaunting a social status by spending more than you earn on shallow possessions, luxurious and expensive trifles, and symbols of power. Um, Let me just speak on the generation we have today. The generation we have today is uh, all about social media. Social media rules the minds of our young folks and our old folks. I see a lot of old people too get sucked up into this whole social media thing. And I know I'm taking to it now because I have a business to promote on social media. But here's the thing. Social media can be a great thing for your business, but it can be a terrible thing for you and your soul. It can be a terrible thing for you and your family. It can be a great thing to keep in contact with those, like, like for instance, I have a sister, I have brothers who live close by me. One lives an hour away, one lives half an hour away, but it's hard to see them either way because of the schedule conflicts. But social media keeps us together. It keeps us intact, right? And we have a sister who is in London. Well, she's in France. France. I have to think about. I don't know what city she lives in now, but her and my brother-in-law and their two kids, beautiful kids, they live out there. Social media is an awesome thing because I can stay in contact with these, with my family, with my siblings, my nieces and nephews. I can see them. I can watch them grow up, even though I'm here in California and they're in France. Social media is a beautiful thing. You have something called reach. You can reach out to people and touch people. You can inspire people. You can, help them with situations, with problems, whatever they got going on. You have the power to reach out and touch somebody that you wouldn't have been able to do before social media existed. So it's not a bad thing. It's just there's a lot of people that are living. I don't know what the word is. It's pretty much you're living your life being told what to do by Instagram, being told what's beautiful, being told what's awesome, what's cool by TikTok. And there's a lot of people that see others who are doing well, and they go and buy something to compete. You never want to compete with the Joneses. What's the old phrase? Catching up with the Joneses or keeping up with the Joneses, something like that. You don't want to be that. Okay, and it says here, pride and vanity will cause you to fake a social status and spend more than you earn on shallow possessions. There's a lot of people that spend a lot of money trying to look good on social media. Now, I know I got some equipment here, but believe me when I say that this computer was just the only one that they had at Walmart when I went down there, was just a $500 computer. This right here is really a $160 microphone, but I got it for $60. Everything is off rub. Everything is dollar store. I mean, I spend money to improve my business best I can, but I'm not here trying to flaunt my Blue Yeti microphone or anything like that. That's not what this thing is about here. But it is very true. You don't want to fake any of that stuff, to fake a social status, buy something just to make an appearance that you're doing better off than you are. You never want to do that. And even if you have the money, it says flaunting is still not right. All right, but it says here, the Bible says, and besides on the subject of money, becoming wealthy is learning how to properly manage your money. I highly recommend Dave Ramsey. He's a great guy. He started off in the company that I work for now, and today, a multi-million dollar person, and he is doing some great things. He's expanding and touching people. In fact, he's one of my influences. I want to grow this podcast to help people out. Dave Ramsey has done just that, and I want to be something like him, maybe in a different realm, but very inspiring. So listen to Dave Ramsey. He has great tips on how and what to do with your money, how you should be spending it, and your relationship you have with your money. And so let's read on. It says in the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 18, it talks about that pride precedes a fall. Also, it says in Isaiah, it says, every mountain will be made low. Isaiah chapter 40, verse 4. Be humble so that hard-won success doesn't turn against you, adversely affecting your current and future growth. Besides attracting everyone's admiration and kindness, humility is a requirement for continued growth. There is a Chinese proverb that says, when the game ends, the king, sorry about the typos, the king and the pawn go back into the same box. Humility will never hurt anyone and is more important in a professional life. Learn to be humble, not in an exaggerated or fake manner, but from the heart. For you know that humility, it says here, humility is one of the best defenses against jealousy and error of judgment. Nice. Let me read it again. Humility is one of the best defenses against jealousy and errors of judgment. All right, so humility, being humble, will keep you from making a dumb decision. Um, that's very true, and it also offers up another book here. It says to go and read the book called The Servant by James Hunter, which develops a concept. It says here, develop a concept of a servant leadership based on the wisdom of Jesus Christ. How incredible! That's awesome. The passages covered here are Matthew chapter 20, verse 25 to 26. Jesus called them together and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord over them, and their high officials and exercise authority over them. But it says, but not so with you. Instead, whosoever want to become great among you must be your servant. Matthew chapter 20, verse 25 to 26. Inspired by the Bible's wisdom, Hunter claims that respect, humility, and caring for people are underlining virtues of a good leader. Right? It says here, inspired by inspired by the Bible's wisdom, Hunter claims that respect, responsibility. I think I have that here. There you go. Respect and responsibility and caring for people are underlying virtues of a good leader. And in order to become a good leader, it is important to be willing to serve, which is incompatible with someone who is arrogant and believes that he or she is solely responsible for a business success. You might question, but how can someone who serves get ahead in life? In fact, servants are the most desirable assets in the job market. It says here, if you are not to serve, you will have a hard time building a successful career or business. If you do not serve a purpose, I like that quote, you will have a hard time building a successful career or business. Reading on, his life is ephemeral, fragile, and surprising. Ephemeral meaning there's not much time left in it. Chance and change are part of the game, right? Chance and change are parts of the game. Sometimes we are leaders, other times we are followers. Therefore, a dose of humility and flexibility is a welcome asset. An arrogant and pretentious person stands a lesser chance of predicting or adapting to the surprises that life and the market puts in his or her own way. And it says here, humility is insurance against many personal errors. Wow. Humility is the insurance for you against many personal errors. Whether by analyzing history or out of the reason or faith, being humble is a necessary asset to reaching and staying at the top. Nice. Here are the antidotes for the sin of pride. Number one, be humble, and you will have much to gain if you are not arrogant. Number two, respect and value those who work for you and with you. Number three, pride precedes a fall. Number four, never forget, you may be on top today, but tomorrow you may fall. Number five, you must be willing to serve. Let me see. Number four, never forget, you may be on top today. Yeah, you may be on top today, but tomorrow you might fall. And number five, you must be willing to serve in order to become a leader. And lastly, we're going to finish off with this quote right here by Al Reyes and Jack Trout. It says, success is often leads to arrogance, and arrogance to failure. I don't necessarily agree with the last statement here. Success often leads to arrogance, and arrogance to failure. It really does depend on your upbringing. It depends on your coaches. It depends on your heart. Money is really there's nothing bad about it. Money is really a fuel unit, and like how I said yesterday, good people do good things with it. Bad people do bad things with it. Today I was watching, or yesterday rather, I was watching the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they're explaining the serum, how the serum kind of makes you more of what you really are. It doesn't just give you powers, but if it gives examples of someone who's psychotic and got the serum, and it just drove them over the edge. And then it has example of Steve Rogers, who was just an all around, generally kind-hearted person, and because he got the serum, he was the ultimate super soldier to represent America. It's the same thing here. When you become rich, that doesn't necessarily mean you are automatically going to be arrogant. So I don't necessarily agree with the last verse. I mean, the last quote here. I'll throw it back up. Success often leads to arrogance, and arrogance to failure. That really depends on your heart, right? It's a matter of the heart. If you are a bad person in the heart, and you become successful, it can get you your head. But if you are a good person and you become successful because you have, we heard it earlier today, right? You have a reason to do this, right? You have a reason to do this, and so 1 second, guys. Mhm. There has to be. Let me see. Let me see if I highlighted it here. There you go. You gotta have a purpose, right? You will have a hard time building a career or having success in a business, um, if you do not have a purpose. There has to be a reason why. So when we train people, yes, we sell the dream about how you have an opportunity to make unlimited amount of cash here in my company in Primerica, right? We have an opportunity to make as much money as we possibly can. It really is up to you. There's no caps. There's no limits. They have guys that make up to $5 million. There's guys who are making 11. And just continuously growing. My mentors, they're crossing over $2 million this year, or they already did. It's an amazing thing to see. But if they didn't have a purpose to do that, number one, they might not make it, and number two, if they do get the money, that money's as good as gone. That money's not gonna last. All right. So this last, I'd hate to end the book on that verse, on that quote. I don't necessarily again agree with it. Success often leads to arrogance. No, not true. Not true. It really depends on who you're working with. See, my friends who are millionaires, my friends who are successful, and maybe they're at half a mil. I mean, yeah, like 500 grand in income, which is still very, very good. Um, I don't see them being so arrogant. They don't think themselves better than everybody else. They're really extremely humble. So again, depends on who you come up from. But if the background that you have will lead you to become this kind of a person with success, if the heart that you have will lead you to become that kind of a person with success, that you would be allowed to make you arrogant, then that is for sure going to lead you to failure. But if you're a kind-hearted person, if you have it in your heart that you want to have charities that you are going to fund when you become rich and successful, um, you are not going to be arrogant, right? So, take that with how do you say that? It's a situational quote, I guess. Take it with a grain of salt is what I was going to say, but I don't think that very much applies. But at the end of the day, my friends, you are good people, and when you become successful, it's not going to change you. It's not going to change you. And if you do, that's number one, man. You suck. That was your heart the whole way, the whole journey. Hopefully you can change that. That doesn't mean it's too late for you either. You can change that around, right? Anyways, what a chapter, guys. We just have 2 pages of a conclusion, which I'm going to read right now and make another video on this. But a little emotional, a little tired. I'm also excited to move on to the next book, which we are going to read. Bedros Keuilian, one of my heroes. We're going to read his book, Man Up. And hopefully, we get some more of you guys to tune in. Definitely sounding like we're going to be gearing more towards the fellas, the guys, which is awesome. Father's Day is coming up, which we celebrate for all men, not just the fathers, but uncles and friends and neighbors, all the men who got, that's how we celebrate here. But just a bittersweet ending at the end of this book. Let's go ahead and let this video go. We're going to go into this conclusion. I'm going to just read it straight up live, no highlighting, nothing. And we'll go from there, guys. But thank you for being here. Again, God bless you. And I can't wait to see what God does for you in your life. And let's keep this reading thing going. Have a great night, guys.